Hi, my name's Matt and welcome to the Open Mic Room. Each episode we're joined by a different guest who share some stories and discuss their music. In today's episode we're joined by the super talented guitarist and singer-songwriter Richard Townend. How are you doing today, Richard?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, all good. Weather's changing for the better, so that's always a plus.
I've had the most enjoyable week researching your music and listening to your albums. Got to admit, I haven't been through all 17, but I've given it a good go. Some of the songs have been very fitting with what's been in the news at the moment. I'm thinking about World Gone Crazy and Stupidity of Man.
Yeah, I mean, I try to write stuff that's pretty relevant. In fact, we're working on a new album now, and I've written one about a cult, and that's called Deliciously Insane. Is that song?
Really? You're quite prolific with your writing. You seem to do more than one album a year. Is that what you aim to do?
Yeah, it depends. I aim to do as many as I can, really. It just depends on who's available to play. But at the moment, I've got a fantastic bass player. I play with Matt Gillam, and a drummer, Mark Hall from Southminster. And I do a lot with Matt. So, yeah, I mean, as we do each album, we try to improve the quality on it. So it takes longer, each album. And of course, you want to be better than the last album. So maybe I am slowing down a bit. But yeah, I have done quite a lot of songs. I find songwriting relatively easy. I run a course, actually, how to write a song. In fact, the Maldon Music Festival, I'll be running the course in September.
Oh, excellent. So what's that called?
It's the Maldon Music and Arts Festival. We had it last year. This year, we're hoping to book more acts. At the moment, there's about 40 to 50 planned, and it's in September for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you've got a lot going on. I saw on your website. You host an open mic night?
Yeah, the one at Madison Heights I host. I enjoy that one because they've been very supportive. And we get a lot of original music there, which is really why I set it up. I also run one at the George in Witham, which is more covers. But then I also put original music gigs on Madison Heights as well. So I've got one on Friday. We're playing. There's a band called Dr. Shot and Rebecca Moe, and also Florence Somerville, who is the UK Country Radio's winner of the Female Vocalist of the Year.
Wow, brilliant! I have to see if I can get down to that. Although I've got a baby son at the moment, so getting out of the house is a bit of a challenge.
Oh dear.
Hence why I've started this, to try and
Children
discover new music.
Allowed.
Yes, our bedtime's quite early. So I'd like to do a whistle-stop tour of your music career, but before I do that, I have a section called If We Only Heard One Song. So if you had to pick a song to show someone, to summarise what you do, and I hate this to an extent because I think everyone should listen to a whole album, but it's a bit like when my wife says, who are you speaking to today? And I have to find a song on Spotify, and it's really hard to find one that summarises you. Which song would you choose?
I mean, that's like asking, how many children have you got? Just one at the moment?
Just the one. Yeah.
Right, okay. So when you have another, and I say to you, which is your favourite child?
Yes.
It's almost impossible because I do lots of different styles and things. The one that gets the most plays on Spotify is a song called House of Blues, which I wrote many years ago when I'd been to watch B.B. King play in Houston at the House of Blues. That's the one that gets the most. But on the 4,000 Weeks album, I think probably one of the better songs and relevant to today is called Gulf of America.
Yes, that's a very good
one.
Because
I'm pleased with the lyrics on that and how it eventually ended up sounding.
Gulf in America, there's a cold wind blowing across the fence. There's islands of precision and a shoreline of pretend, and it all flows together in a gulf we recognize. There's a gulf in America between the truth and the lie. There's a soul in America, and trust to be betrayed. There's decades of politicians see money to be made. There's always some good soul, honesty and gold. The computer algorithms deny the truth till it's told. There's a gulf in America. There's a cold wind blowing across this strait. We need to bridge the chasm, fight the waves of hate. I'm not a politician, the constitutional fight. There's a gulf in America between the day and night.
House of Blues for the rocky blues side, and Gulf of America for the songwriting side.
I couldn't narrow it down to one either. I've got a little short list here. I've put down Fault Line, Time, Just the Way It Was. I thought they show your guitar skills brilliantly, and also songwriting. Ask the Boss Man. That seemed to be at the top on Spotify as well. I think that one shows your band quite well.
Yeah, I mean, that was Glenn Book on drums, great drummer. He lives in Braintree. Actually, that album was the first album that we had a proper distribution deal for, and that was in HMV and things. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a problem with the distributor on that, and we sold quite a lot of copies of that and never got paid for it.
No.
We had to get the musicians union involved. So.
Really?
it's not just writing the songs, and it's not only just writing the songs and getting them recorded. You know, that's just like 10% of it. You know, there's 90% on the trying to get the team together and the promotion and things.
It's a
But
complicated
I'm just
world.
happy. I'm happy we've got the I'm happy we've got the back catalogue.
Now, if we could now do a quick whistle stop tour of your career, see if I've done my homework.
Yeah.
1984, you graduated from Leeds College, so you're from the north before Essex.
Yes, yeah, indeed. Yeah, Batley originally, and then I moved to Filey. In fact, there's a song on YouTube called Batley Boy, which is...
Oh, is there? Right.
That's, yeah, I have a listen to that. That documents... when I was at the grammar school in 1975, they took every 2 years they took a picture of the school, and of course pre-digital times, so they had a revolving camera.
Right.
I think we were 12. And David Furness, we were reading a book called Kes. I don't know whether you've heard of that book.
No.
But on the front of that book, there's somebody sticking 2 fingers up. And so he thought it would be quite funny on this photo to stick 2 fingers up. So he did, and the camera rolled on, and the school had 600 copies printed. And it wasn't until it actually went home to a parent that somebody noticed it stuck 2 fingers up on there. So he was called into the office, and it was quite a big scandal at the school. And anyway, that's mentioned in Batley Boy. So songs about documenting life. Yeah.
So what I want to know is how you went from Leeds College in 1984 to then later that decade travelling with the likes of Tony Christie and Ronnie Corbett.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that happen so quick?
Leeds College of Music was the first college in the country that did contemporary music. So part of your course you had to write for an orchestra, but a light music piece rather than the classical piece. And I learnt guitar there. And then whilst I was still playing at college, I used to do summer seasons and just network. And then I moved to London. Actually, I did Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs at Cliff's Pavilion in, I think, about 85 or 86. I met somebody there, and I actually moved down London then, and I was doing things like the Platters when they came over to the... It was just through networking. And then I wanted to buy a property, and music didn't pay very much. So I got a job and just stopped playing for about 10 years.
So, yeah, you stepped away in sort of 2001, and then it was back in Maldon where you found the love for it again.
Yeah, the Buick's jam night. I just got up and played, and I was just so out of practice and terrible. But I really enjoyed it. And then, so I formed the Bosscats, which was like a Stevie Ray Vaughan type Texas blues. And then I met a very talented, interesting man called Terry. And Terry taught me a lot of open tunings and songwriting. I mean, Terry Hiscock is a brilliant songwriter. He had a band in the 70s called Hunter Musket, that's it. And they've reformed, and they're all in their very late 70s, early 80s, but they still do little tours and things. Brilliant guitarist, and he taught me a lot.
So he taught you about playing in different tunings, did he?
Yeah, different tunings and songwriting, really. I mean, I always used to think a song had to have a guitar solo in, being a guitarist, but, you know, sometimes it doesn't need one. It's more important what you're trying to say in the song.
That leads on quite well to the next section, which I call the Sad Song Society, because I'm on a mission to make sad songs cool. I love sad songs. When I'm driving along, I love the songs that really get in your head.
Yeah.
And I know that during a set, you often have to squeeze them in, don't you? You have to almost buy them with some songs that everyone else loves. But going through your songs last week, you document life a lot in them, and you write about difficult subject matters, things I haven't heard other people sing about. You've got a song about dementia called Remember. You've written about a school shooting in Parkland.
Yeah.
So how did you get inspiration and decide to write about these tough subjects?
Well, I think songs are documents. They're documenting life. So if you think of Chuck Berry, and you didn't have the internet, and you didn't have TV or anything, you could basically get a sense of what America was like just through listening to his songs. And I think that's a really strong message, songs that can tell you things. What I don't try and do is preach. I like to point things out, different things. The dementia one, we had a good friend who died of dementia. Another friend of mine, her mother died of dementia. And it's a terrible disease. The pain is really shared by the families. I mean, the person that's got dementia, they're happy as Larry, but the people that it affects.
Good to see you again, like I did yesterday. But you don't remember who I am. It's the cruelest of pain, 'cause you just look the same. Something robbed us of who you are. You're in your own little world. See the child in you, but we still love you. 'Cause I remember who you are. You tell the same old story 1,000 times before, and we smile like it was the first. A lifetime of memories with the people you love. How come we've all become such strangers? You're in your own little world. We see the child in you, but we still love you. 'Cause I remember who you are. The child in you, but we still love you. 'Cause I remember who you are. Good to see you again, like I did yesterday. 'Cause I remember who you are.
And the school shooting, America, I hold America up as a beacon of music and democracy. And it seems to have just gone downhill. And so the school shootings things, I think I've got a couple about school shootings. There's one called Thoughts and Prayers, which is basically politicians immediately come out and say thoughts and prayers. And, and it's just bullshit because it doesn't bring the person back. It doesn't resolve the situation. Yeah. So
Yeah.
life, really. I mean, I wrote an album called Seven Deadly Sins, which was, I set myself a task to write a song for each sin because I thought that was a nice bucket to put everything in. And one of those songs is called Angry Words, which is about anger. And really, it's from a parent's. And you will get this when your son is 16 or 17, about how frustrating they become. And the angry words is really the child having angry words with the parents, like the world, it's your fault the world's like it is, not they don't take their own responsibilities. So it's just way of communicating.
That's a great concept for a song there.
Yeah.
I thought I'd done my homework and listening to so many of your songs, but you're still managing to name lots that I haven't. But I've got some things to enjoy this afternoon.
Thank you.
Whilst on that subject, the song Lately from 4,000 Weeks, so yeah, I thought that really summarised the concept of love drifting away slowly, beautifully, and the music is perfect for that.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, that was inspired by reading a book by Don Felder from the Eagles about how his relationship crumbled, not just with his wife, but with the Eagles as well.
Okay.
There's an album called Gold Fever, and I was reading a book by a lady called Georgia Durante. Now, she was a famous model at 15 because she was the cardboard cutout that they used to put outside the Kodak shops in the 60s and 70s. And she was in a polka dot bikini, Georgia Durante. Anyway, she married a mafia, into the mafia, and she became a getaway driver for them. But eventually the relationship broke down and she ran away to Los Angeles and became a stunt driver in Hollywood films and got a very successful stunt driver company together. And so I wrote a song about that. And I actually found her on Facebook and sent her it. And she was very complimentary and things. And anyway, it's called The Company You Keep, and her name's Georgia Durante, quite a famous woman.
You keep, okay, there's another one for the list. I like a song that's about a good story like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the book is fascinating how strong she was, especially in the when feminism wasn't as strong when she actually left, and also leaving the mafia. I mean, God's sake, I wouldn't even. I don't know what it was like for her.
Oh, that'd be a good song for International Women's Day yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. I never thought of that. I should have posted it.
Back onto your music career so far, what are some of the highlights, some of the biggest gigs that you've had?
I think probably person-wise, the biggest gig I did was when I was about 19. We were in I formed this little rock band called Zeitgeist. I have no idea what it meant, but we went into the TSB rock competition. We were at Sixth Form College, and we went to Newcastle. We won the final there, and then we went to Manchester, and it was on. There used to be a regional program called Nationwide, which used to be the 6 o'clock till 6:30 slot, which was basically it was a news program, but a magazine news program, like the One Show, I guess now. And for that half an hour on a Wednesday, they didn't have Nationwide, and they put the whole concert on. So it's the first time I'd ever been on telly.
Wow.
We came third, but it was on national TV. We were playing on national TV. Ian Gillan from Deep Purple was one of the judges and was really complimentary of the band. So that was fantastic.
So exciting to see yourself on telly for the first time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I looked a bit different from now, we shall say, but it was just, it sort of inspired me to play, and that's why I went to college. And then I enjoy, every time we get somebody to come see us play, it's a big kick, because they don't walk out, they actually pay to see us, and that's nice. Or if they don't want to pay to see us, I'm starting, the amphitheatre in Maldon, in the Bron Park. I've just put some requests in to book that during summer, so we can have a lot of live original music in the park for free for people.
Oh, that would be fantastic. And that would just be shared on your page, will it? Or...
Yeah. I mean, I'll send you my newsletter, which
Right.
has details of it. I'm still waiting for them to agree it.
I know you do a mixture, don't you, of solo shows and then shows with your band, the Mighty Bosscats.
Yeah. I mean, I like to play, and it's different. When I'm doing acoustic, it's more laid back, more exposed. When it's the band, it's more electric, sort of more lead work. This Friday we're doing Madison Heights, and then on the 25th of March, I think it is a Wednesday, we're playing at Hotbox in Chelmsford, and that's for a live radio show. So
I saw
it's
that.
going to
That
be
looks
broadcast
great.
live. Yeah, I mean, it's £8 to get in, and you've got 3 bands on that are going live. So it's like the old days with, I can't remember it, John Peel type session. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm sure the recording of that will be out by the time I put this up anywhere. But that would be excellent. I know you've got Armored
Probably.
Man playing as well, which are a great band.
That's
I don't know
right,
if you've heard of them. Yeah, it sounds like that would be a great
I
night.
haven't. No, I'm looking forward to meeting them.
The other live performance I was going to ask you about is what you have an album about, live in Moscow. How did you end up playing in Moscow?
Yes. Well, Boris saw me on some of my videos on Facebook, and also because I had a few number ones in the British blues charts, he contacted me. I mean, it's not just me. He has a sort of a catalogue of about 20 players that he takes over there. What you do, I'm probably the only one that does 100% original music. Everybody else sort of just blues standards and things. But I sent out my CDs and a set list, and the guys just learnt them. They're just fantastic musicians. The first time I went out there was it's called the Theatre. I can't remember, but it's a 500-seater place. And I normally let our drummers do all the counting, but this time I had to do the counting. So I was scared stiff. I mean, it was a 2-hour show, and we only had about 20 minutes to run through the set just to get the tempos and things. And there was only the bass player who spoke English. Everybody else just spoke Russian. But it went really well. And then the next time I went out, the keyboard player admitted he spoke English, and he's fantastic. I mean, he is a fantastic musician, very quiet, and I chatted to him. He's played on an album I did called Short Stories, so I sent the stems out to Russia. In fact, he's playing on Gulf America as well. And he said, "Oh, what have you done this week?" And I said, "Oh, well, I've mowed the lawn, I've organised a couple of gigs." And I said, "What have you done?" He said, "Oh, I discovered a black hole today." Because he's a physicist who works as a professor in a university. And she thinks, right, okay, fair enough, you've discovered a black hole and I've mowed my lawn. And I just thought, that's great. And so I went out there, and they actually recorded a show and didn't tell me. And about a year later, they sent me all the stems, had it mixed here, and just released it here.
Did you have to tailor your set in any way for playing over there, or not really?
Yeah, there's one I didn't play, and I can't remember what it was, but it was
You've got a song called Ukraine.
Remember, but it was a bit. Yeah, I don't think I'd written. No, I wrote Ukraine after the tour got cancelled, because I was supposed to go out in the February, and basically they cancelled the tour because Putin.
Too dangerous.
And then the promoter then moved to Kazakhstan, so I went to Kazakhstan a couple of times.
Wow, you've played in a lot of different places.
Yeah. France, Belgium,
America, obviously. Have you got any plans to play outside of England coming up?
I mean, we're doing the Orkney Island Festival in April, so we've got to get to Aberdeen and then take the ferry, and then we're doing one night in the Isle of Hoy.
Great fun. Okay. So, is there anything about your music I haven't asked but feel I should have done so far? No,
not really. I mean, I just create music and just write songs, and I try to make them interesting. We're not the best, not the greatest songwriter, nor the greatest guitarist, not the greatest singer, but I just try to put a package together that people can sort of assimilate with the songs, really, and like the songs. We're not sort of 12-bar regurgitators or anything.
You say you're not the greatest, but I hear, and I've also read like lots of references to sort of Chris Rea and Mark Knopfler in your music, and I can hear that, definitely.
Yeah, I love Mark Knopfler. In fact, I was on the Short Stories album. There's a bass player on there called Marcus Cliff, and he plays with Mark Knopfler now. And he used to play in a band called the Notting Hillbillies with Mark Knopfler when he in between his Dire Straits stuff. And I went up to Scarborough. I was playing in a bar one afternoon, and there was a young lady, and she was sat down and she was chatting to, I think it was her sister, and she came over and she said, "Oh, is that a resonate? Is that a Bellatone guitar?" I said, "Oh, it's a National. Do you know anything about guitars?" And she said, yeah, I'm a guitar repairer." And she said, "I'm married to Stephen Phillips." Well, Stephen Phillips was the first guitarist in the country that used to import National guitars, and he's a fantastic singer, fantastic artist, and he used to play with Mark Knopfler at a jam in Whitby, and Mark still sometimes goes up there, and they do it every Tuesday. I said, "Oh my God," because he used to play with Notting Hillbillies as well. I said, "Well, you know Marcus Cliff?" And she said, yeah, I know Marcus. And we started chatting. I said, "So you must know Mark then, Mark Knopfler?" And she said, "Oh yeah." And she got a camera out, and she's shown me all the guitars that she repairs. So he takes his guitars right up to Whitby to get repaired. So
Amazing.
Just small world.
Have you ever met Mark?
No, I haven't. It's on the list. I'd love. No, I haven't. No, I'd love to meet him. Sing, I like very much. I'd like to meet him, but I haven't as yet. Maybe one day.
He's one of those people that generations still adore, because my dad's a big fan of Dire Straits, and I remember my dad showing me videos of him, and I just thought he's so cool, and that's what inspired me to pick up a guitar as well. And he's still inspiring people.
Really, yeah. I mean, he's just a great songwriter as well. You know, when I was younger, I liked guitarists like Hendrix and Page and Brian May, the fast widdly stuff. And then as I got a bit older, I started appreciating music more. I mean, I used to think ABBA when I was 16 was just pap. And now I just think, what fantastic songwriters. Brilliant production. How could I have not liked that?
So who put a guitar in your hand first?
I think I asked for a guitar when I was about 8 or 9. And then I always remember me and my brother were having a fight, and I fell onto the chair, and it fell backwards to the chair and broke its neck. So I didn't dare ask for another until I was about 11. And then it's quite interesting. When I was about 15, I thought, oh, I can play quite well. And of course I couldn't. And I saw an advert in a local paper, and he said, young guitarists wanted for a band. So I got my dad to drive me over to Scarborough. And for about an hour, they said, "Do you know this song? Do you know that song? Do you know?" And I really didn't know anything. And when I got home, about 3 days later, I phoned them up and I said, "Did I get the job?" And I'd been on the Monday, so it must have been Wednesday. And they said, "No." They said, "Oh, yes, you did get the job. We had somebody who came on Monday who was just rubbish." And I said, "Oh, great." And he said, "I thought the drummer was going to call you." And I said, "Well, I don't have a phone." And she said, "Well, when did you come?" And I said, "I came Monday." And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. No, you haven't got the job." So it was a bit of a shock. And I thought, well, I better start learning this properly.
It's so interesting how everybody first gets into playing.
Mm.
The last section I call the wild card, and because it's an open mic and no one's paid, you can play what you like. And also, if they've got to this point in the podcast, they're invested, hopefully, liking what they hear.
Mm.
What song have you been most recently playing? What's on your mind at the moment?
So I'm getting. So we're recording this new album. So I've got about 3 songs on the go at the moment, and one of them I'm really struggling for words for it. And the reason I'm struggling for words is when you write a song, you need 5 elements: the subject matter, the song lyrics, the melody, the harmony, and the form, you know. And you can start anyway. You know, you might have a great chord progression, then you work back, you know, and think about the song, the subject matter. Or you might have a good hook line, and then you think, well, what's that hook about? But at the end of the day, you've got to have all 5 things. So I've got a really good riff. I've got I've got the form already. I've got the melody, but what I don't have is a specific subject matter, and I keep changing the lyrics because it's not formulated in my head what I really want to say in this song. So I'm struggling with that one. Once that's finished, I'll do it at an open mic. But most of the open mics, there's a very good one called So Slam, which is Southend-on-Sea local acoustic musicians. That's once every 2 months. And all they allow is original music there. And last time I went, there was 14 acts turned up to play. Each did 3 songs. So that's, 42 original songs. Is that right? 3, 4, 12. Yeah, 42. So anyways, the question of what song would I play at an open mic?
Well, you're throwing in a wild card.
Normally, no, I have to say, if it's a brand new open mic, I always do one called She's My Best Friend, which is about Mark Knopfler guitar. He was interviewed and said, why have you got this guitar when you can afford any guitar in the world? And he said, well, it's a friend. It's been with me all my life. It's been with me when I've been up. It's been with me when I'm down. And she's my best friend. So I wrote that song up.
Every time I get the blues, I pick up my old friend. Always there when I need her. Her I can depend. When I'm feeling lonely, life's a kind of strange. I pick her up on my lap and I wash away my pain. She's my best friend I ever had. 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 Back in 1975 when I was a boy at home, picked up with a friend of mine right back to the bone. She wasn't shy of bashful and I rubbed her up real good. And now she sits in pride of place in the best neighborhood. Best friend I ever had. She's the best friend I ever had. Best friend I ever had. Best friend I ever had. Well, I roamed around with others. I hated her sometimes. Stood by me all this while. I only paid a few dimes. So when I'm feeling lonely, life's a kind of strange. I pick her up on my lap and I wash away my pain. Best friend I ever had. 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 Thank you, thank you.
That's great. Yeah, just mention a final song, one I really enjoyed, but I haven't heard you playing it live on the videos I've seen yet. It's a song called Top of the World, and I played that one to my wife, and she liked
What's it called?
Top of the World?
Oh, Top of the World. Oh God, yeah, that was quite a long time ago. That's like a bit of an eagerly type vibe,
Yeah.
hasn't it? I guess the reason being is that if you change your lineup, the new guys in the band want to stamp their mark on it. So if you keep writing new songs, they want to be part of that, and of course they'll want to play the songs which they've written the parts towards. So that's probably why. And also we've got, if you're doing a 45-minute set, you've got about 10 songs to choose from, and we've got about 300 to back catalogue to actually choose from. So you try to balance the set, like a cracking opening number in the middle, maybe down a bit, but you always want to end with one. Yeah, that's a belter.
When you've got a catalogue like that, how can you ever fit any covers in there?
Well, yeah. I mean, I do covers occasionally, but not with the band, because it's, I mean, don't get me wrong, covers bands, there's some brilliant covers bands, and you need to have a certain amount of a real skill to pull a covers band off, learn all the parts exactly, get all the sounds together, get the voice, so many different styles, things, But to me, writing your own stuff and trying to make it as good as what you would hear as a covers band, because what you're trying to do is just basically write material for a covers band.
Right, yeah, material that people want to cover.
Yeah, precisely.
So where can we find out more about what you're doing next? Is you post all your shows on your website?
Yeah, it's on Richard Townend. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and the YouTube. If you go on there and you can, subscribe for free, which would be fantastic, because I'm trying to get that golden milestone of 1,000 subscribers. I'm only on 913 at the moment.
Well, you're close. You'll be
There's about there's 174 songs on there, videos, live, not so live, that you can get your teeth into.
And there's going to be a new
We're on
album out.
Instagram. I don't use that as much. Yeah, we've got the songs. I've written most of the songs now, although I probably write a song a week. So there might be some more. I might choose better quality ones. But it's just a question of getting it recorded now. We've got a couple that are finished, and then we've got about another 6 where we need to have a look at the drums and the arrangement. And then I've got about another 4, which I might just do acoustically with Matt.
Excellent. So that'll be this year, hopefully, 2026.
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. I really wanted it ready for the Orkney Festival, but it just didn't happen.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to that. I'm invested. I'll be following.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much
for
taking your time out. It's been great talking with you.
Yeah, no, and you, thank you very much for inviting me on. I mean, without podcasts and things like this, the scene dies a death. So it's really good. I'm really proactive for grassroots stuff, which is why I'm doing the Madison Music Festival. And, we need to get the music out there, because it is dying, is live music. Unless live music becomes a corporate event, when you have to spend £100 to see a band. It's just, we're losing that intimacy and the breeding ground for people to write the next hits. And so, anything like this, the podcasts or anything which promotes people and live music is brilliant. So hats off to you, and thank you very much for inviting me on.